Well, the Supreme Court ended its summer docket with some major decisions, including one ruling siding with a Texas law. Justices upheld a Texas law requiring adults to submit proof of their age in order to access certain adult websites. The High Court was also expected to rule on birthright citizenship. Instead, it limited the powers federal judges can wield. Sean Rabb explains.
Well, this was a big one, wasn't it?
President Donald Trump called it an amazing victory and monumental decision.
For the Constitution, the separation of powers, and the rule of law, in striking down the excessive use of nationwide injunctions to interfere with the normal functioning of the executive branch.
By a 6-3 vote, the justices ruled federal judges don't have the power to issue a ruling, an injunction in their district that applies nationwide.
The court pretty much says we're putting an end to it. In the introduction, it describes how this practice of nationwide injunctions started and kind of grew and grew and grew.
Constitutional law attorney David Cole appearing on Good Day Friday.
We're supposed to have elected representatives putting their laws in place and then courts kind of, interpreting disputes about those, but not every law automatically runs to Congress all the time.
Cole believes what the High Court did by restricting the reach of federal courts makes more complex the still unresolved dispute over birthright citizenship. Whether a person born in America is automatically a citizen regardless of their parents' immigration status.
Because instead of one lawsuit, now you got a whole bunch of proceedings that are going to be going on.
Lawsuits stemming from the argument that birthright citizenship is enshrined in the 14th Amendment beyond the reach of an executive order. But once the High Court's policy on injunctions takes effect, we could see a patchwork of rules from state to state. President Trump praised the court's ruling.
So thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with these numerous policies and those that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis, including birthright citizenship, ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing unnecessary funding, stopping federal taxpayers from paying for transgender surgeries, and numerous other priorities of the American people.
And in another ruling, a big blow to the adult entertainment industry, the Supreme Court upheld a Texas law that requires a person to upload identifying information to prove their age before access to a porn website. The idea to protect children from accessing adult content online. Appellate attorney Chad Ruback says the ruling leaves adult website operators with two choices.
This law, regardless of which course that a porn website is going to take, stopping access to Texans or requiring Texans to upload a driver's license, either way, I think a lot fewer Texans are going to be accessing porn online now.
Sean Rabb, Fox 4 News.
The Supreme Court also ruled parents in Maryland can now pull their kids from public school lessons that use LGBTQ-themed books. The court's conservative majority said requiring elementary school children to sit through lessons if it conflicts with parents' religious beliefs would violate the First Amendment. A Christian legal advocacy group calls the ruling a monumental victory for parents and their fundamental right to make decisions about the education of their children. Senate Republicans are hoping to push forward President Trump's budget package. It hit a snag this week because large portions of the bill apparently go against Senate rules. The president has given a July 4th deadline. Connor Hansen has more.
We've worked hard on this, and now it's time to deliver.
Despite some speed bumps, Senate Republicans could vote as soon as Saturday on a bill key to President Trump's agenda. Senators are taking until the very end of this week to reveal their final text. It still requires a marathon round of voting before it can pass and return to the House, where some Republicans are still skeptical. President Trump created a deadline of July 4th, just 1 week away.
It's important. It's not the end all. It can go longer, but we'd like to get it done by that time, if possible. And look, we have a lot of very committed people, and they feel very strongly about a subject.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says they will take 72 hours to review the Senate's version before they take a vote. Lawmakers face a much more serious deadline later this summer when the debt ceiling needs to be raised to avoid defaulting on the nation's debt.
I'm not as set on getting this done on July 4th as some of the others. I want to get it done, but I want to get it done right.
GOP senators faced a setback after the parliamentarian forced them to rewrite some key provisions to align with Senate rules. Democrats are criticizing the rush.
Instead of fixing the egregious provisions of the bill, they're trying to jam it through. They don't want the American people to find out what's in it.
Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says they'll do everything they can to stop the bill and plan to introduce a series of amendments. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.